I'm sorry, sir, but your livestock has been impounded for violating HOA ordinances, and there's now a lien on your property. That's what the sheriff told me, standing right in front of my own barn as two tow trucks rolled off with my cows loaded up like they were junkyard beaters instead of living, breathing animals I'd raised since calfhood. And get this, I've never been a member of any HOA, not in my wildest nightmares. There I was, standing barefoot in the gravel, shouting at a deputy who looked like he'd heard 1,000 stories just like mine. "You can't do this. This is my family's land. We've been here for generations." And all he said, shaking his head like I was crazy, was, "Take it up with the homeowners association, sir." That was when I knew I wasn't just dealing with a paperwork mix-up. No, something much darker was going on. See, my name's James Parker. I'm 41, and I run Parker Homestead, a chunk of Arizona dirt. My great-great-granddad tamed with his own hands long before anyone thought about pool passes, wristbands, or Karen with a clipboard telling you what mailbox to buy. Our land's always been our land, full stop. I'd always figured, sure, let the developers build their little slice of suburbia a mile down the road. I've got 300 acres, right? But you know how it goes. They paved over the scrub, called it Cactus Grove Estates, and set up an HOA like it was the 10 Commandments. I just shrugged. Live and let live, right? Well, that was before Karen Whitmore moved in. She rolled up her driveway like she owned the county late 50s tennis visor clipboard like it was glued to her hand. "You must be Mr. Parker," she said, peering over my fence like she was the livestock police. "I'm president of the Cactus Grove HOA. We'll be holding a meeting next Thursday you'll need to attend." I laughed, said, "Lady, this isn't your development. Parker Homestead is not part of your HOA. She didn't crack a smile. "Every property that touches Cactus Grove must comply with our standards. It's all in the charter." I told her she was wrong, but she looked at my barn, my cows, my tractor like she was sizing up the next thing she was going to find. Letters started showing up, real official looking. First it was unapproved structures, next excess livestock, then replace rusted fencing. I ignored them. Then the fines came. $50, $100, $500 for nuisance animal noise, unsightly waste visible from community pathways. We don't even have community pathways. I showed the stack to my buddy Carl at the feed store. He almost choked, laughing. "They're bluffing, James. You ain't under any HOA?" That's what I thought until I got a county notice of $14,000 lien slapped on my land. The HOA had filed paperwork saying they'd annex my property due to boundary overlap. Just like that, my ranch was on their registry. I tried everything, called my lawyer out of town, naturally called the county. They said it was a civil matter, but no one would help. Then one morning I wake up to strangers walking my pasture, clipboards and cameras out snapping pictures of my cows. We're from Western Livestock Compliance. HOA citation 47B. We're here to impound unauthorized livestock. I'm yelling, "These aren't cars. You can't tow cows." But by afternoon, the trailer's here. Sheriff shows up, says I'll be arrested if I interfere. I show deeds, tax records, proof I'm not under their thumb. Nobody cares. And there's Karen, front row seat in her golf cart, sipping diet soda, smiling like she'd just won the lottery. "You didn't attend the meetings. You didn't follow the rules. Actions have consequences, Mr. Parker." And as the cows drive away, she waves at them. That's when I see a for sale sign go up, "Cactus Grove Realty, not mine." Now it's crystal clear. They don't just want my cows, they want my land. The next morning, my well is padlocked, condemned by HOA order, big red sticker and everything. I storm back inside, call the county. Finally, I get a clerk who actually listens, a guy named Ben. He tells me the HOA filed an emergency injunction, claimed my water was contaminated, even produced a private lab report. I never authorized any test. He says the court gave them a temporary restraining order 6 to 8 weeks before I get my water back. 6 to 8 weeks. No cows, no water lien on my land. They were trying to choke me out, slow and legal. I sat there staring at my family photos, my dad in front of this same barn, my granddad holding a baby goat. I'd be the one to lose it all. That's when I remembered Uncle Randy, my granddad's brother. He lives in a little cabin by the east fence. Doesn't talk much, hates government and HOAs in equal measure. When I told him, he about dropped his cigar. "They put a lien on Parker land and took your cows." He grabbed his keys. "Get in the truck." Next morning, we're at the town clerk's. Randy dumping land patents from 1829 on the counter, barking, "Ain't nobody got the right to touch this land?" The clerk just shrugs, says, "Modern zoning overrides historical deeds." Randy grins. Then it's time to change the laws. Turns out the HOA had been buying up land rights and easements, plotting a private golf resort right next door. They wanted Parker Homestead gone. That evening, I get a new letter. Notice of foreclosure intent. 45 days, and they're auctioning my land. I'm sitting on the porch ready to throw in the towel when I remember what Karen said to my face. "You're the last holdout. Once you're gone, this section's ours. That's not progress, that's war." So I start talking to neighbors, old-timers folks who've been here since before the developers. Turns out I'm not the only one. Someone's fence was torn down for non-compliance, someone's rooster got them fined, another's garden was plowed under for aesthetic violation. Karen wasn't just after me, she was coming for all of us. I called a meeting. 30 people showed up, most with dirt under their nails and a bone to pick. We started putting the pieces together, fake laws, scare tactics, money games one by one. They were pushing us out. We formed the Parker County Homefront Coalition, just a name, but one with teeth. I'd work the paperwork, Randy would dig up zoning maps, Ellen would document every HOA threat, and Carl would call in favors with his cousin's podcast. That night, I blasted every news station, every lawyer, every preservation group. Next day, my inbox explodes. Natalie Grant from KBLZ News wants to see the ranch. She shows up with a cameraman, sharp eyes, boots, and a notebook. Filmed the barn, the padlocked well, the scraped dirt where my cows had been. Caught Karen on camera too. She just grinned and told the reporter to vacate HOA land. That night, our story was everywhere, viral, with thousands watching. People were furious. And just when I thought things might finally turn, another notice, cease and desist, restraining order from Karen, court date in 2 days, and apparently I'd threatened public safety. That's when Uncle Randy hands me a flash drive lab results from the real county test. "Your water's clean." How he got it, I'll never know. I prep my case, and then all hell breaks loose. Lindsay, Carl's daughter, shows up crying, says the HOA just bulldozed Miss Ellen's garden. I tore down the road truck flying, her roses and tomatoes flattened scarecrow in the dirt, Ellen sobbing. Karen sitting smug in her SUV, sipping coffee, clipboard in hand. "You've got a court date, Mr. Parker." She orders the bulldozer to keep going. I step in front, phone recording. "This is private land. You want another viral video of HOA abuse, shut it down." And for once, the operator listens. The neighbors gathered some filming, some shouting. "This is wrong," Karen hisses. "You'll regret this, Parker." But by then, the whole town was watching. That night, we gathered in the barn, my evidence, Uncle Randy's statement, notarized letters, the clean water report. Next morning, court. Karen in her best suit, fancy lawyer judge who didn't take nonsense. Their side reels off charges, livestock nuisance, public endangerment. Our side, evidence footage, the clean water test deed signed by Andrew Jackson, photos of Ellen crying in the ruins. The judge says the HOA has no authority. Lien is void, cease and desist, referring this matter to the DA for possible fraud, trespass, property destruction. Karen loses it, yells, "They don't belong here with their animals and rusted fences." Judge shuts her down. She's escorted out. Victory, right? Not so fast. When I get home, there's a letter under my door. "Enjoy your freedom, Mr. Parker. You'll need it while it lasts." That night, my barn goes up in flames. Fire department comes late, shrugs it off, just an old barn. But I know better, no power lines, nothing but hay and tools. This was arson. Randy shows up at dawn, says she couldn't beat you in court, so she's coming for you outside it. But something wild happens. Neighbors show up. Carl brings tools. Jim and his boy bring lumber. Ellen brings cuttings from her ruined garden. By dusk, we rebuild half the barn. And all the while, a black SUV sits across the highway watching. Next morning, a state attorney general rep knocks Alan Brooks' suit and all. Says the news reached the Capitol. Turns out Karen's name is already on a list. State investigating HOAs for illegal land grabs. And my case has proof clean, loud, and documented. We'd like to use it as the foundation for a broader lawsuit. That night, copies of every document go to the AG Sheriff News, even Karen's mailbox. By morning, Karen's house is empty, her SUV abandoned. But the damage lingers. 3 men in suits show up, say Karen was working with a Nevada developer. They forged my signature, sold my east pasture to Eagle Ridge Holdings. I'm floored. We race to court, slam the brakes on construction with a restraining order. That night, someone slashes my truck tires, nails a dead chicken to my gate with a note, "Back off or next is the house." I don't sleep. Next morning, half the county's at my ranch with coffee and rifles ready for whatever comes. Back to court this time with evidence, trail cam photos of Ethan Whitmore forging documents, proof the notary's fake. Judge says withdraw the contract or I'll issue a warrant. When I get home, Randy's bloody, says he caught someone trying to set another fire, got their phone. We plug it in, find photos of our coalition meetings, our documents, even Ellen's trailer. That night, Natalie airs everything. National news, senators call for investigation, governor gets involved. But Ethan leaves a deed transfer receipt. They'd already tried to sell the pasture again. Next morning, the bulldozers come, but we're ready. Flatbed blocks the road, crowd gathered, news cameras rolling. Sheriff steps up, demands paperwork. This was signed by Ethan Whitmore under criminal investigation. That means this contract is void. Contractors back off, then a slick lawyer from Eagle Ridge shows up, tries to fast track in federal court. But Natalie interrupts. Judge just issued a stay. No building, not today, not ever. Cheers, hugs, relief like you wouldn't believe. We stood there as the last bulldozer rolled away, dust in the sun. Randy grinning. Told you they didn't have the guts. For one moment, I could almost hear my father's voice in the breeze, proud, relieved, warning me, it's not over, because it never really is. So what do you think? Where do we draw the line between community and control, between justice and revenge? Share your thoughts below, because this fight for Parker Homestead, for every small town holdout, is far from over.